Hey, you're listening to Stop the Scroll, a social media marketing podcast, and I'm your host, Heidi Schmidt. I'm a social media strategist and agency owner with over 15 years of marketing experiences helping businesses grow online. We'll be diving into what you need to know so that you can show up confidently online without the overwhelm. Get your notebook ready to jot down some amazing marketing gems, and let's dive into it. Welcome back to another episode of Stop the Scroll. I am your host, Heidi Schmidt, and today I have an amazing guest on. We're talking with Gala McCray, founder of Two Arrows. She is a bookkeeper who I know through my involvement with a mastermind. And Two Arrows is a boutique financial services firm helping service-based entrepreneurs elevate their financial operations with strategic bookkeeping, cash flow clarity, and executive-level advisory. She's got 2 decades of experience in operations and financial management across a number of sectors, including corporate, nonprofit, and creative sectors. And she blends precision with care to deliver peace of mind because luxury to her means knowing your numbers are working as hard as you are. She's a QuickBooks Online Pro advisor and a financial thought partner to agencies, consultants, and creatives. And she empowers business owners to make bold and confident decisions rooted in clarity and control. Welcome, Gala. I'm so excited to chat with you. Tell us a little bit more about you, your business, and let's talk a little bit about that whole clarity, confidence, and control. I feel like so many business owners can resonate with that.
Yes, thank you so much. It's an honor to be with you today and talk with your audience. I started my business in 2018, and my focus was on the business owner and how I could best support them and grow what they had. And what I found very quickly was the concerns and challenges around money and what they can do or what they can't do. And I knew that I wanted to help empower them to make the decisions, to show up as confidently as they do in front of their client when they're doing their thing, as they do behind the scenes when they're making the decisions that affect their business as a whole. So that's why I got started. And I found that when we consistently look at our numbers, we become more confident with what we're seeing because we're showing up, we're familiar with it, we're more comfortable. So I like to make that the foundation of what's going on and make sure that business owners have what they need to move forward in those ways.
I love that. And I feel like a lot of business owners view bookkeeping as one of those necessary evils. Like, I am guilty of this. I do not have clarity inside my expenses and everything. I'm going to self-admit that. Why do you believe that kind of clarity is actually a leadership tool?
Well, when we shift from being the doer in the business and being the decision maker in the business, we go from, oh, this is just another thing that needs to get done, to how can I do this and who's the best person to do this? It may not be you because whatever reason there, I know if I say it's not me because you could fill in the blank with whatever reason why. And that's okay. Identifying that that is what it is will help you move past it, because when it's not what we want to do, we sort of procrastinate, we put it to the side if we ever get back to it, right? So going from that decision maker, who needs to do this? If not me, then who? And then going from I'm doing this because it's a compliance piece to I'm doing this because it's going to give me better visibility and I can tell information about my business from the numbers that I'm looking at. I can make financially responsible decisions based on what I'm seeing in my numbers. And it's from a place of clarity versus flying by the seat of your pants kind of thing.
I love that you talk so much about like clarity and confidence and control. So how do these consistent financial practices bring those into a business owner's day-to-day? I think about this a lot because, hey, do I have the funds to invest in another marketing assistant? And right now, truth be told, I don't know. But how do these consistent financial practices actually turn into that clarity and that confidence? And how do you specifically help owners kind of get over that hump of being, trying to think of the wording here, almost being gun shy with their finances?
Yeah. So first, I like to tell business owners, whoever I'm talking to in the moment, that you're not alone. Most of us feel like this, me included. At the beginning of the year, I had big shifts in my business and I had to make some decisions about how I was moving forward. In order to feel confident with how I was moving forward, I had to go back to the numbers. Okay, I may be shifting away from some clients, but what is remaining? So I could see where I needed to build, where I needed to open the funnel, and how big I could open the funnel. Like, how many clients am I expecting to bring in due to this shift? The other things I look at are my spending habits. Like, what am I spending my money on? I often talk about the colored coded, plastic coated paper clips. It's like, is this something that is necessary for my business or it's a nice to have for my business? It's okay to use the plain metal paper clips, especially if I know that that's going to open up money in another area that I'm looking to spend money. So, looking at the numbers and being gun shy comes from not knowing. So, how can I know more about what's going on in my business? Having a financial focus moment sometime during the week, whether it's on a Friday morning before you go into the weekend, so you have time to think about whatever decisions you have to make in the next week. Or maybe it's beginning the week with that financial focus moment to see what's going on in your business. You create the rhythms with the finances, you know what's happening, and then you're able to consciously make the decisions that you need to because you know what's happening. One of the things that I like to look at, and I encourage my clients to look at, are their spending habits. What are those things called? Where the automated payment things, what are
Yeah,
going out automatically?
yeah. Like the recurring expenses, maybe?
Yeah. So like those things that you sign up on a subscription that come out all the time. And then the ones that come out annually that sort of take you by surprise. Oh, this is coming out.
Hmm.
An idea of what those are and being able to monitor those as you're moving forward will help you know your cash flow, knowing when your clients are supposed to pay you and having an idea of if they're paying you on time. When it comes to the recurring things, I want the money that's coming to me to be recurring and have more control of when the money's going out. So setting things and controlling the rhythm of how money is being spent is one thing that can help you overcome being gun shy in your business finances.
So, specifically for service-based entrepreneurs, how does this mindset shift of shifting into that CEO mindset? How does this change the way that they can operate and grow? And you and I have had conversations about kind of passive revenue and diversifying revenue. Like I've loved the kind of insights that you've given me over the past year about diversifying because up until probably middle of last year, my entire business was on done for you management clients. And since then, I've added new service offerings. I was really excited because last month I got my first affiliate payment from HoneyBook.
That is so awesome. I'm so happy for you.
um, that was a nice little $100 payment when we were on vacation in Disney. I was like, sweet, that just paid for dinner.
Yes.
But how does this mindset shift change the way that service-based entrepreneurs can operate and grow? Like when you step into that CEO mindset.
So it's almost like when you're looking at all the things that have to happen in a business, when we're working as entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, women owned business owners, we take on so many of the things. And when we become more intentional about how we're spending our time, how we're looking at our money, we're able to move from a place of what has to happen next to I've made a plan and I can think about strategically what the future of my business looks like. So when we're looking at the money side of it and diversifying our income, that's what we're going to talk about this upcoming financial focus in our mastermind.
Gonna be there for that one.
Yes. So we're going to it's just when you're thinking about this is how I'm making money right now. These are the goals that I have for my business. This is where I want to be in my business. This is how much I want to work in my business. This is the time that I want with my family. This is the number that I need to feel successful or make the changes that I wanted to in the world. Knowing that kind of information helps you be intentional about how you move through your day to day. The same
Hmm.
thing with your spending, setting your goals for how much you want to pay yourself. And if you're not paying yourself, it's not too late to start where you want to start that kind of number and moving from there. Sometimes it's just a percentage. For every dollar I bring in, I want to give 10 cents to myself, whatever it is, but just
Hmm.
starting somewhere helps you become more confident when it comes to bigger decisions and moving in bigger ways. When you're looking at your service-based one-to-one client exchange for your service and the dollar amount, you also have to think about all the things that it takes to make that happen. And if
Hmm.
you are unaware of that, just do a quick audit with one client. Think about your favorite client. You have that client in mind. You know the time that it takes to deliver the service. And then think about all the extra pieces that go with it. Is there any kind of technology that supports you and putting that together? Do you have any outsourced contractors that help you deliver? What does it take to get that service delivered to your client? But then think about all the things that keep your business operational, your internet service, and whatever else may be there, your email provider, all the things that go into your business. A small portion of that is coming out of each client that you're seeing and being able to see how much it takes to service that client. You become more comfortable with the amount of money that you're charging to that client because you actually know the numbers behind it. Making decisions based on how we emotionally feel about it, it's a little bit different than when we're making the decision based on the numbers behind the decisions. So when a client comes to you and they're like, that seems a little bit high, you know where that number came from. Did you make it up arbitrarily, or is it based on your goals and what it takes to deliver? So, yeah, that's some of the things that go into all of those things.
So I want to tie this into marketing because, I talk to a lot of businesses who say, I can't afford marketing. A lot of people are doing it themselves. How does having insights and even, if they have a trusted advisor like a bookkeeper, help them make those informed investments, especially like if your goal is growth? I tell people like, "Hey, marketing's a good investment, especially, if you're currently doing it yourself." Do you have an example about how a business owner with clarity knew that it was the right time to invest in marketing and what the outcome ultimately was?
So when I think about the marketing side of a business, I think of the two phases. You're opening up your funnel to bring more people in, or you're at a stage or some hybrid between the two where you're trying to nurture the clients that you have. So you have your nurturing dollars and then you have your bringing more people in dollars. The bringing more people in costs more than nurturing the
Mhm.
people that you already have. So the only person that can make a decision about which stage or phase of business you're in is you as the business owner. So
Mhm.
when you think about whatever period of time, you have to make that decision. Your bookkeeper can't make it for you. Your trusted advisor can't make it for you, but you're like, I'm growing right now. I want to bring in so many new clients, or I want to pause and focus on nurturing the people that I have, or I want to bring in half and nurture half. Whatever the case may be, you set the tone for that. Once that tone is set, now we can look to the numbers and make decisions. Okay, you've decided that you want to bring in more. That's what you're focusing on. Now we know that we need to get you in front of more people. That's going to cost you. It's either going to cost you in your time or it's going to cost you in your pocketbook. So, depending on how you're moving forward with that, we need to know. And then based on the number that you want to spend in that area, advertising, putting more into social media, putting more into blogging or long form, getting in front of other people and on their podcasts, whatever the case may be. Once you have decided how you're going to move forward with that area of marketing, now we need to set KPIs. We need to look at the key performance indicators that show that this money that you're putting towards marketing is bringing back an investment. How many people have you brought in since you implemented this marketing plan? How many new faces have clicked on something or whatever the case may be. So we can start measuring what's happening based on the plan that you've made. When it
Mm-hmm.
to the nurturing side of it, once you know your business cycle, you know that they start here, they go through this service, and then they either sign up for another one or they become an advocate for your business. But whatever the case may be, what are your touch points there? Are you sending a gift when they sign on? Are you sending a thank you when they have completed the service? Are you following up? Do you have someone reminding you to follow up on these things? All of that sort of goes into that nurturing side of the marketing situation. And when you do so, the key performance indicators that you would be looking for is how many of your existing clients become repeat clients. How many of your clients are referring you to other people because they had a great experience? So that's what I sort of look at when I look at the bookkeeping side that relates to marketing.
I've always wondered because, even as a marketer, I invest in my own marketing. When you advise your clients, is there like a percentage or how do you advise them? The KPIs make sense and thinking about like your growth trajectory, all that kind of fun stuff. But if someone says, hey, these are my monthly expenses, this is how much I pay myself, I want to invest in my marketing. Is there like a certain percentage that people should be spending? Like, what do you usually advise?
So when it comes to the growing your funnel, bringing more people in, generally, I would say you're looking at around 10%. So if you look back at your profit and loss statement and you're looking at your percentage of income versus your expenses, if your marketing right now is less than 4%, then you're not really putting a lot into marketing. But if you know that you're trying to grow, I would say you want to start gearing up closer to the 10% in the marketing area. When you're looking at nurturing, I'm looking at more about 5% of your income going towards your marketing efforts. Now, this is a general sense, but when you look at your numbers, you're going to know what's happening in your business and you're going to be able to align it to numbers that make more sense to you. But generally speaking, that's where I would say you want to aim to be.
Okay. And you kind of talked a little bit about this, like the KPIs. How does having this insight better help evaluate that ROI? I've worked with clients who have said, I want a 400% ROI on my marketing. What's kind of the realistic and how do you advise your clients to look at that ROI on their marketing dollars, whether it's, sending that client gift or whether it's investing in outsourcing some piece of your marketing?
So for me, like I'll go personal for a minute. I made a decision that I wanted to be teaching more in my business. I think that what's very close to my heart is sharing with other people about how they can be more in control and feel more confident with their business finances. So that means a portion of my business needs to be spent with an audience that's bigger than one to one. So
Hmm.
my goal in doing that was to speak once a quarter. And speaking once a quarter, I need to be present in audiences so that I can do so. And in being present in the different audiences, I went to a conference. I had an Ask Me Anything desk. And from that conference, I received a recurring client that has been with me for years now. So the recurring client comes in at X amount of dollars, and the life of a client, which I know for my business is X amount of time.
Hmm.
For you and your business, you look at what you're doing. How much does it equal for every person that you bring in through the efforts that you're doing and the lifetime of the client? How much potential money is involved with that? For me to go to a conference, I know that I'm going to spend a certain amount of dollars. The lifetime of a recurring client is another amount of dollars. The one client has already paid for my investment to go, and everything that comes after that is bonus for me. So that's one of the ways that I think about it, and that's me personally. But when I think about other things like showing up on social media, Heidi, you know me, very big on social media. I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I've seen improvement.
Thank you. But what I can say about my social media, it doesn't really cost me a lot because I don't pour my money into that. But every time I put my time, it's either time or money that you're spending. Every time I put my time in it, something comes of it. I receive interaction. I receive a new client. I receive a new opportunity.
That's
So,
incredible.
so I know that it's worth it.
Yeah.
So some people look for that 400% mark. Maybe percentages is not your thing. Maybe
Yeah.
you can look at it as what kind of impact am I going to have? You and I were just together yesterday or the day before
Earlier this
yesterday.
week. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on my way out of the event that we were attending, there was someone that came up to me that I had the privilege of speaking with for 15 minutes. I had a 15-minute Ask Me Anything session. And this woman was sharing with me about her business, how she's been able to grow her business, how she's been able to change the setup of her entity, how she's been able to open the door for the reviews, how she's been able to have the hard conversations with her partner in her business about how they're paying one another. All
Mhm.
15-minute conversation. So when you're thinking about your goals, my goal was to show up and speak to more people so that I
Mhm.
can help more people besides just in one-on-one services.
Mhm.
And a year later, I'm still seeing the return on that investment. It's not always a dollar for dollar, but identifying the different ways that you're looking to make an impact, the money that
Mhm.
you're spending to do so, and then doing the reflection to see if it's worth your time, if it's worth the dollar that you're putting in.
I love that. I really, really love that. Kind of starting to wrap things up a little bit. I have a couple more questions. One, what metrics or reports do you think that every entrepreneur should look at each month? And you've kind of talked about this in like our financial Fridays we have each month with our mastermind, but like what are the things that every entrepreneur should be looking at?
You should be looking at your profit and loss statement. You need to look at your profit and loss statement consistently, often. You need to be very familiar with it. Your profit and loss statement or your income statement is showing you the money that you had coming in to your business, the expenses that you had, and what's left over. So, in technical terms, you might look at it as revenue, expenses, and net profit or
Mhm.
loss. So looking at those numbers will help you know whether you are making money or not. Some of the things that I'll hear when we're having a general conversation, it's I don't know if I'm making any money right now. Then I'm like, let's look at the report. Well, the report shows me that you have consistently made money through the first quarter. Congratulations.
Yay.
So, sometimes our emotions will tell us a different story than what we're seeing on paper. So it's very good to be familiar with that. Also, what it will show you is where your income is coming from. Sometimes we have not diversified, and sometimes we can diversify or identify different things in our income buckets that are still one to one if we're
Mhm.
service based. We have our one-to-one clients that we serve this way, and then we have one-to-one clients that we might serve a different way. If we can identify how we're serving each one, maybe
Mhm.
not 10 buckets, but maybe like 3 or 4, then we're able to see what's actually bringing money into the business. And we're also able to see what's costing us the most, and it may not be balanced in those areas. So those are the things that I would recommend that we start looking at for sure if we're not already looking at those numbers.
All right. And final question. What is one small shift that a business owner who has been hesitant to do anything with their books or has that financial apprehension, what is one small shift that they can do this week to start seeing their books as a leadership tool?
One small shift that you can make to start looking at your numbers as a tool in your business and not that burden that gosh, one more thing that I need to do. Just look at your numbers, and if they're not already organized, just start to organize them a little bit. What's going towards office expenses? what's going towards technology. The numbers may surprise you.
Yeah. All right. How can people find you and connect with you?
You can visit my website at twoarrows.co. I'm also on Instagram at twoarrows.co. TWOARROWS.co.
Thank you so much, Gala, for this amazing conversation. I learn something new from you every time we talk, and I'm so excited. If you found this episode helpful, or if you love the podcast, be sure to go like and review wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us get in front of more people. And until next time, go forth, lead with clarity, and check your numbers, folks.